I recently photographed and filmed a wedding at a botanical garden. I used a Nikon Nikkor Z70-200mm f2.8 VRS lens primarily for video. That was amazing. I also used it for photography later at the wedding reception. I rented it basically for its sharpness. An added bonus, it's perfect for the Nikon Z6 II. I wanted to rent this lens to see if it was as good as a review. I knew it would be a good choice on this wedding day for video. If you're curious about this lens for video, then watch this video. Hello, my name is Vaughn. In today's video, I wanted to find out if the Nikkor Z70-200mm f2.8 VRS was viable for video. Most videos on this lens are from the photography side. Nikon's not the best choice for video. But in this video, maybe I might change your mind. Keep an open mind about Nikon for video. I had the Nikon Z70-200mm for a recent wedding. Go to the link above to view the footage. To add to the complexity of this wedding, I was doing a solo wedding video shoot. I was also shooting photography solo. If you have photographed an event with a 70-200mm, then you know how a zoom lens can improve your depth of field. But I needed this S-line lens to isolate the wedding party in the distance from the people attending the wedding. Wide lenses capture more of the scene, but they just don't create that intimate feeling. Shooting with the Nikon Z7-200mm was different than my previous experiences with other zoom lenses I had rented. In renting this lens, I immediately noticed the weight. This lens felt lighter and more compact than the previous generation of Nikon lens. It is 180 grams lighter than the Nikon AFS Nikkor 70-200mm f2.8 EDVR2. Adding a collar made the lens a little heavier, and then I needed two hands. But for video, I was placing the camera on a tripod, so I didn't need those 5 stops of VR image stabilization that are available on this lens. Another good thing that I noticed about this lens was it was self-contained, no telescoping. Additionally, I noticed how quiet the stepping motor was when achieving focus at long distances. I took a few samples to see if I would have any problems with focus breathing. It was minimal. But the thing I was concerned about the most was the sharpness when zoomed. Most lenses have a problem when zoomed. If you've used this lens before, then leave a comment about your experience with the Nikkor Z70-200mm 2.8 lens. You might help someone make a decision on whether to buy this lens or rent it. Here's my old faithful lens, the Sigma, the 70-200mm. I use this all the time for events. But for video, I want to use something more competent. I want to use something that complemented my Nikon Z6 II. For the wedding, I was using the Nikon Nikkor Z70-200 sitting on a tripod in the rear of the seating area. The Nikon Z6 II is a great photography camera for weddings, but Nikon's not known for video. But in this video, I want you to see what my experience was with the Nikon camera and lens combination. I originally positioned the camera at 100mm because we had to practice indoors for the wedding due to the rain. And so I didn't get a chance to get outside to take good measurements. So what ended up happening, I had to move the camera back further than what it was indoors, and I had to use the lens at 150mm. This extra length for most zoom lenses leads to vignetting or distortion, but this S-line professional grade lens exhibited none of these issues. I was concerned that chromatic aberration might start to show at the higher zoom range, but I could fix this in post if it was evident in the video. If you want more stats on this lens, please go to the link in the descriptions below. I had a few concerns with this lens being outdoors. I wondered if the lens could handle all the dust blowing from the strong winds. I also wanted to know how it would handle facing the sun for 30 to 40 minutes, and I also needed to know whether it would be sharp while capturing video. I had a lens hood on the lens, but I was concerned that with the wind blowing dust, it would show on the lens. But this lens has fluorine coating that resists dirt and smudges. I didn't notice any dust particles on any of the images in the video or smudges from dust buildup. The next concern I had was the lens was facing the sun for 30 to 40 minutes while recording. And I was concerned that with the ambient light changing outdoors constantly, I might get flares in the video. For those that ask the question, where is your ND filter? I intend to use an ND filter, but I brought the wrong filter adapter. Both lenses were 77mm, but the filter adapter just didn't like the Nikon lens. So I had to use an f-stop of somewhere between 10 and 16, which was fine, seeing that I wanted to keep the bride and groom in focus. It was a sunny day. Without knowing the details, the lens had anti-reflective nanocrystal and RNEO coating for maximum image quality. I didn't have any flaring issues or ghosting in the bright sunlight. Sharpness is what everyone's concerned about in a zoom lens. Is this lens sharp? Take a look at these samples. Using the Nikkor Z70-200mm f2.8 for the wedding was actually very straightforward. I didn't have to worry about the things that hamper older and third-party lenses from being a no-go for video. Plus, if you're buying into a camera ecosystem like the Z line, then you want to use technology that complements each part of the ecosystem. I'm not fully invested in the ecosystem, but for events like weddings, I need every ounce of technology I can get. As you know, in all of my videos, I like an analogy at the end. With the third-party lenses like this Sigma 70-200 and the Nikon adapter, they're basically asteroids floating in space waiting to burn up upon entry to the wedding day. But with the Nikkor Z70-200 2.8, I felt at peace with the universe. No photography black holes, no video solar flares, just a clear night sky full of stars. Please click that subscribe button and watch my other Nikon videos. Thank you for watching.